Hi, I'm Kathleen Reitz and welcome to my channel. Today's video is part two in a three-part series on how I painted this abstract floral painting. So if you haven't watched the first video, I will post the link in this video and also in the comment box so that you can go ahead and catch up and watch that first video. Make sure to subscribe so that you'll be notified when the final video comes out, which will be video number 3. I'll be posting that again in a few days. So thank you so much for watching. If you have a question or a comment, be sure to leave it in the comment box. I do read all of the comments and questions. I'd love to get your ideas for future content for this channel, and it means a lot to me, every comment that you leave. So thank you so much, and we're going to go ahead and dive right into it. After I posted my first video in the series, a couple of people commented about my composition, and one person even said that the composition looked strong even just a few minutes into the painting. So I wanted to address that before moving on. In the photo on the left, you can see those are my first marks that I'm putting down on my canvas. I'm blocking in the painting and putting down very large shapes with my hands. I'm not really spending a ton of time in any one particular area, but what I want you to notice is that I am moving all around the canvas. There is a balance of shapes both on the left side and the right side of the canvas. And then I've also got a shape in the middle, and I have a shape above and below. I also want you to notice that these shapes are not symmetrical. I've put them down with my hand intentionally so that I get very organic shapes with lots of movement. And that's just simply by moving my hand around the canvas and moving my fingers kind of in and out and just spreading the paint very quickly on the canvas without a lot of thought, but with kind of letting my intuition guide me. And even though some of these initial shapes will be covered up, I put them down to establish balance from the beginning. So you'll notice in the second photo that as I move on and start to put in some of my white areas, obliterating some of those black shapes, there's still a sense of balance in my painting. And even at this stage in the painting, I continue to use my hands. And again, this is just because I can put down really big shapes that are very organic looking, have very interesting textures and edges to them. And finally, in the photo on the right, I begin blocking in some of my floral colors. These shapes are a little bit smaller, but you can see I still am very focused on creating a sense of balance in my painting. To me, at this point, this is much more important than focusing on the smaller details, which will come later. The most important thing to me right now is just getting a solid design down on my canvas. Now let's move on to part 2 of my 3-part series on creating an abstract floral painting. At the end of my video part 1 in this series, I had been using a small shaper tool to put in all these beautiful green lines that you see in my painting. And now I'm using a blend of an off-white color that I had pre-mixed and some glazing liquid, and I am starting to go around and soften some of these green lines. For this, I'm using a number 10 filbert brush. Softening some of these lines and blending that green into the painting just helps the paint to feel a little bit more cohesive. And here again, I'm using those two off-white colors that I pre-mixed, as you saw in the first video. I'm spraying that white paint now right there because it's a little too heavy and I want to make it a bit more transparent. And one of the nice things about my Catalyst silicone wedge is that it acts like a squeegee, so I can get rid of some of that heaviness of the paint. I've said before that my painting technique involves a lot of layering. So now I'm coming back in with that green again, and I'm gonna start adding some more layers of that color back into my painting. Please note that this painting has all different sizes of shapes and lines going in different directions and lots of textures. This also really helps to create an interesting composition. For example, I can use lines in order to direct the viewer's eye where I want you to look, and I can use larger, darker shapes or lighter shapes to bring the attention to certain areas of the painting. Adding lots of different textures brings interest to the painting. But too much texture can be distracting. So here I am going in with one of my pre-mixed white colors and some glazing liquid, and I am softening some of the areas of the painting that maybe I felt were a bit too distracting. And I hope at this point you begin to notice that as I work on this painting, I'm constantly working around the entire painting instead of staying in one place. And I have, at this point now, really started to block in more of my floral colors and continuing to go back in with white and make adjustments. I do like mixing colors on my palette, but I'd say about half the time the colors that I mix happen directly on my painting. In this case, this pretty pale blush color. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. So I don't know if this comes across on your screen yet, but this color that I'm using now is a really beautiful deep purple color. And I really liked my color palette, but I felt like maybe something was missing and I needed, aside from that almost black color that I mixed, I felt that I needed another deep color added to my painting. And I love this purple. So I'm gonna go back in now with a little bit of white and just look how pretty this purple color is. I think it just adds so much to this painting now. And this is where I'm gonna stop the demo for now, and we will pick up in the third and final video. That concludes the second video in this three-part series. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video, which will be coming out soon. Thank you.